Very good afternoon. How are we doing? Data, AI, cloud, connect. So a lot of potential, lot of possibilities, and we are starting to see with Venkatesh sir's presentation, Dr. Ranjana ma'am's again very deep insight. So here in the third segment, we have a boardroom in front of us, a simulated boardroom conversation, and navigating uncertainty by raising the digital quotient, right? So that's the theme, and we are all aware as leaders of technology, leaders of business, that there are few uncertainties none of us have control on, right? So it could be sustained geopolitical conflicts, it could be global economic headwinds, the Western markets are not growing economically the way they should be, and at a pace that typically China or India or some of the growth countries are accelerating at. There are supply chain disruptions at times. There are rising energy prices, rising interest costs. So multiple of these factors often hit the adverse effects by seizing digital technologies to their advantage. And in that sort of context, we have a great eminent set of industry leaders. Thanks to Anita, Abdul, Rajesh, Vinod for agreeing to join the boardroom conversation. And then we will learn from each other and from this distinguished audience. Of course, towards the end, we'll do a little Q&A and see how some of the exchange of ideas, exchange of best practices sort of help each other solve some of the complicated business problems collectively, holistically, with more precision and leveraging technology as an ammunition. So maybe Anita, if I may start with you, and you've led large diversified groups such as Patanjali as the Chief Operating Officer. So taking that, I would say, as a context, how do you see at a boardroom the strategic relevance of data, AI and analytics seen, and if there are maybe top 3 value appreciation points at a board level around data, AI, analytics, what would those be?
Thank you so much. Good evening, everybody. Firstly, thank you for having me as part of this esteemed panel. I've not been on the board of Patanjali, so I don't know what discussions go around on that board. But I am on a couple of other boards, and I do understand one very important thing that, the education of the changes in technology have to happen at the top for it to sink down, across various levels. And 3 very important points quickly, which I think, very basic ones, and I think to a large extent, Mr. Venkatesh also, covered those points in his presentation, is that, in a boardroom discussion where everybody is sitting there to take decisions, how does technology help? I think what is very important is that technology and AI, both put together, data analytics, whatever you may call it, they're all part of the changing landscape of technology and the various, remnants of that. But I think what is very important is that it helps you take very informed decisions. Whether what are the market trends, what are the consumer trends, how is technology going around, what is the productivity issues, do you, have any certain problems that you have in mind. So all that, learnings that come from data and now AI, of course, helps the board take very informed decisions. Because everything is backed by data, the chances of you going wrong, are not, far too many. The second important thing is that I think it gives you a huge amount of competitive edge. Because if you, from your data, are able to decipher and disseminate the information and figure out as to what is going around in an industry, because I think there is no one size that fits all. So the industries are different, the categories are different, and you have to look at various data points there to see as to what is it that you can do in terms of either innovating on a product, in terms of changing the landscape in an organization, in terms of even looking at how your customers are behaving. So if you look at all these aspects, then I think a competitive landscape that you see at your end definitely tends to put you a step ahead of everything. And the third other important aspect is obviously efficiencies and savings. I mean, any board, I think the first thing that comes to your mind is, oh, where can we bring efficiencies? How can you save money and stuff like that? And I think, with data analytics and the resultants of that, and with AI today, there's a lot of automation that has got set in the industry, and which helps you in terms of, automating processes and hence, decisions from that aspect, and various aspects, where human intervention would have been far more in earlier times. I think automation has helped doing that. So I think, informed decision making, your competitive edge, and your efficiencies and savings are three very, very important aspects which forms part of any boardroom discussion. And today, data and analytics and AI are there to help you in that.
Fantastic, thank you. Appreciate that. And Rajesh, I'll come to you next. Anita mentioned during her summary about customers, and I'll take that customer centricity as a hook and come to you next. You see, the changing customer journey, very dynamic expectations, which constantly change or constantly thrive for something new or something enhanced, something more personalized. So keeping that as a sort of very, very dynamic landscape, how do you see that in this AI-enabled digital era, marketeers, marketing leaders such as yourselves are harmonizing data AI analytics?
Yeah, thank you. Firstly, thank you for having me here. And see, the 2 or 3 things, and I'll pick up from where Anita left it. Then the realities of the business haven't changed, which is that all businesses exist to make profits, right? And technology is a reality they cannot ignore. It's not an operational reality. They will say, okay, go to the CTO or CIO. It's too critical. All businesses have become technology businesses, and either they can thrive or somebody else might pip them to the post if they don't pay attention, right? And third point in my mind is that the way I look at role of marketer or a CM in an organization, they are a business owner or a business, critical part of the business who happen to have skill set in the craft of marketing, right? So it's not about tactics of marketing. It's not about various other things, but I see role of CM or the marketing as a dot connector between various functions. A lot of the functions that are the front end are under a lot more time pressure. Therefore, they tend to be tactical. They have to make a quarter, they have to make a month's revenue, and so on and so forth. The marketing is the owner of the customer, and all businesses center around making the customer happier, buy more, pay more money, be profitable, and do it better than the next guy, right? So I think the role of marketing is now made easier with data, AI, analytics, to connect these dots, uncover insights, move towards more profitable areas, areas where there is more stickiness, areas which you can grow, and actually not get into areas which are not so profitable. Because what has happened, like you said earlier, I think because of the geopolitical, but also just the rate of change has become much, much faster. So therefore, there is no long term in that sense, right? I think the fluidity has become super important, which is that you have directional clarity at a strategy level, but your execution is always in short steps. And anytime reality changes, you are able to take a turn and make a change. So I think that's where I see a critical role for marketing. I saw that happen quite a lot in my own experience when COVID hit, because marketers in so many organizations became the chaperone of companies, next direction. Nobody had seen that before. Employee experience is a part of your company's brand. External experience is a company's brand. Will you go and keep pushing people for buying more stuff when they are worried for family safety, health safety? No. I mean, if you are now going to be more human, more reasonable, more appropriate, then things come back, people will come back to you. But if you are going on same because you decided or that work past 20 years, that's actually going to hurt you more than benefit. And now again, with so much of the geopolitical situation, so many things are changing. Your import gets cut off, things go into shortage and so on and so forth. So I think the role of marketing is, I would say, much more enabled by this whole wave of new age tech. And it is moving to a more strategic level because a lot of the operational things that you would take to uncover, align data, harmonize, get insights are now possible to do with tech. And you can focus yourself and the company on areas which only humans can do and therefore be able to differentiate. So I'll stop.
Appreciate. Thanks. And then Vinodji, I'll come to you next, and I'll again take a linkage from what Rajesh mentioned, that every business today is a digital business or strives to be one, right? So how true you see this statement in context of a complex business such as an airline business? And second part to my question is, how do you see the strategic relevance of AI, disruptive capabilities of generative AI being seen at a board level for a business as complex as airline business?
Thank you, Shantanu, and good afternoon, everyone. It's a privilege to share the dais with the esteemed panelists. What I think Anita said, Rajesh said, I completely agree with that, but I will give a different perspective. The rules of the way you do business have changed. We have to acknowledge that. While the business broadly at 50,000 feet may be same, but fundamentally rules have changed. So the rules are the way you conduct business, the way you, your touch points with the customers, your touch points with the vendors, your touch points with the employees. Everything has more or less changed, at least from the airline's perspective, from the last 2-3 years. And you call it the journey of digitization to digitalization. You can give any name to it. But there is, the fact of the matter is that there is data everywhere, and you have to find that one bite to eat. So that journey which we have been through, on top of it, the industry is very, very dynamic. You would have seen, I think, few days here, in Delhi or in other places, the uncertainties around the weather, the disruptions you have to manage. So that puts on top of the complexity which already industry has it. So from the data point of view, this business is built on data now. Whether you accept it or not, that's what it is. Most of the services are moving from offline to online. So if you look at the DigiYatra, it's a classic example where your face is the boarding pass. You don't have to show your ID at all now. You can go anywhere. And most of these are self-service, which is being provided. People are embracing it. People are embracing the technologies. So when you have got data around, your business fundamentals in terms of rules of the game have changed. So there is no other choice but to embrace data, AI, Gen AI, or the relevant tools. Like, for example, Vistara was very fortunate to be born on cloud. So we don't have to worry too much on the infrastructure side, whether it is storage, compute and all, but you have to manage it well as well. So from that perspective, absolutely, that sets the complete context. So the relevance of data and AI is absolutely critical because it is hitting our business processes. Look at the whole inventory of our flights, the schedules, the crew rostering, the customer support, the flight searches, everything is based on this now. So I think from that perspective, it's easier for us now to, or as the technology leaders, to push if there is the relevance of technology for business, where still you put the business hat first, that what kind of problem it is trying to solve. Because there are good news is that there are tons of technologies which can help you. Scalable technology which may do the job for you, but you don't have to make elephant dance. So that is the right sizing which technology leaders have to do. But important is that how do you bring the value to the table in terms of showing what is the improvement in the business KPIs. I think Rajesh brought a point that we call it agile. How do you make it agile? People don't have patience for 8 months, 9 months, 1 year, 2 years. They want results in weeks. So you need to embrace DevOps, you need to embrace DevSecOps, which is basically churning out very quickly. And a lot of these business models haven't been proved. So you need to have appetite to take the risks. And the only way you can take risk is that you have a very good ecosystem of partners, not only with the business, but also the third-party partners. I think Abdul is here. I'm sure he's going to talk about that, how the startup ecosystem is working with us now. So that whole ecosystem, the whole operating model, you need to embrace, and you need to tie up with the business problem you are trying to solve and show the incremental results. I think if you are able to do that, the board level conversations are a lot more easier. You are able to show them that what is the value which technology is going to bring for the business, and it is easier to get the blessings from the CFO.
And I wanted by design to come to you last because you have founded and you are growing and you are supporting customers who are very, very strong on a digital native foundation. So I wanted to pick up that as an exclusive theme for you and seek to understand, okay, how easy or difficult it is to sort of accelerate success in a digital native business, which is by design is built on the foundation of cloud, data, AI, analytics. Share some experience and successes there.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for having me on this panel. I think what we have seen in the recent years is the bridge between, or the gap between the digital natives and the traditionals is bridging down. Because if we have seen legacy companies, starting their IT companies, and like let's say someone is in manufacturing vehicles, they have their own softwares, integrating IoT and stuff like that. And so what we have seen is even the traditional companies are sort of, or any company is sort of becoming an IT company now. So that's one of the observations. But as Anita, Vinod and Rajesh were mentioning, the data is being used for three primary aspects. One is, of course, for decision making. Second thing is, data is the foundation for AI. It's like you are having a vehicle, a nice car without fuel or flat tires if you don't have data. So AI is of no use. And third thing is, it's more about analytics. So if we see all these three areas, what we have seen is, if we are looking at sort of decision making, and most of the things, the most important things are decisions, and decisions really, impact your future. Because it's very good to have choices, but it is very difficult to make the right choice. If you have more choices, then the decision making becomes more difficult. Then data really plays a very important role on what choice you are making. Because today we cannot, like in the past, the business was very slow, the speed was very slow, but in today's world, people are very impatient. They want things, to happen on the fly. And so, most important thing which, people need in boardroom is data. So you have to make the, decisions based on data. So I think the first use case, whether it may be digital natives or traditional organizations, they sort of rely on data. Second thing is, everyone is sort of looking to leverage AI. And as it was being said, like, all businesses look same from 50,000 feet, but when you go down, each and every business is unique. So, to help or to use AI to really impact your productivity or to bring in efficiency, you need the right set of data. And people, mostly your organizations talk about digital transformation. And data is the real foundation for your digital transformation. So if you're going to do something like, I would take an analogy of water, like it is essential. Water is essential, and clean water is essential. If you have contaminated water, then you may fall ill or even die. So data is like that. So you need to have data. You need to have clean data. So and third thing is all about analytics. Like why we do analytics. It's not about analytics of the past, but about the future also. So these are the three major roles which data is playing, irrespective of the industry.
Excellent. Thanks for bringing that, I would say, sort of a three-pronged flavor and approach. Quick round two of rapid fire, if I may try to do that way, and then leave some time for us to engage and interact with the audience. Anita, I'll come to you. On the subject of hyper-personalization and sort of real-time marketing or real-time engagement for enhanced trust, customer loyalty, so on and so forth. How easy or difficult you have seen in your experience ability to deliver hyper-personalization and the role of data AI analytics towards?
See, I would classify it as easy and difficult both, because if you have the right kind of data from which you can decipher, then it becomes easier for you to take those decisions, right? And if you don't have the data, then obviously God save you. So data is at the back of everything. But you know, from a hyper-personalization perspective to a consumer, and especially for FMCG companies, I think the comprehensive customer data that any organization in that sector collects, and I think that may also be valid for aviation, for example, that understanding of the customer, I think, is very important, because as marketers or as you know, people who are selling their brands to various customers, what is important is the customer, who's at the core. And I think understanding the behavior of the customer, whether it is in terms of, you know, a purchasing cycle, how do they behave, their psychographics, their demos, where do they reside, the cultural differences, how will they react to, you know, a product category and things like that. I think their data plays a very, very big role. And today with that data, you're also able to do real-time changes. You know, so you know immediately, it doesn't, customers will not wait for 6 to 8 weeks. I'm sorry. I mean, if I'm on Amazon today and I don't get a response, you know, within a few minutes, forget hours and days, I'm a very disgruntled customer. So I think that it is very important for you to really predict that, and then, you know, make those changes, you know, within the organization or within whichever category you're working on, to really chase that customer. And also the whole concept about, you know, getting feedback from the customer, because finally customer is the king, right? So whatever feedbacks come in, if you're able to, you know, integrate that real time into the data that you have, then it shows you a lot of predictive changes that you can, you know, continue to make, and then finally make, you know, a happy customer there. However, having said that, I think we've all been talking about data and AI, and data is important for AI and what predictions happen. I would still take a step back and say, while AI is very important and it is helping us, you know, what we used to do in one day, it does in a few seconds. I think HI, which is human intelligence today, I think is also very important, especially when you're dealing with customers, because they will not capture, AI doesn't capture the softer aspects. So I think it's an art and a science in a way.
True, fantastic. And I'll go by your first point where you sort of emphasized on the I would say importance of data quality. There is a phrase called that AI needs data more than data needs AI, because the algorithm can sort of fish out garbage in, garbage out if the underlying data quality, the coherence, the structure is not as per desired format. Rajesh, I'll come to you next, and quickly, I've seen technology businesses, of course, even larger, diverse kinds or types of businesses, during typically difficult quarters where sales productivity or targets are a little down and not up to the mark, they tend to put or rely more heavily on marketing as a function to be able to leverage the power of data analytics and AI to uncover new opportunities or see where from there's some incremental pipeline that's possible. So your experience of how marketing typically is able to cope up with such, I would say, enhanced expectations when the chips are down.
Yeah, I'll go back to my previous point. I think marketing has the ability to, you know, I don't know, I would say host that whole piece. Because I think of marketing as a deeper strategic function, right? It's, like you said, you know, it has the luxury to take a more mid to longer term perspective, and therefore uncover underlying either drivers of growth or saving opportunities or things one can avoid. Typically in a downturn, you want a higher return on effort. So in peacetime, you have luxury to experiment more and say, okay, maybe this thing will happen after 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. In bad times, don't. You want something that will happen in 1 quarter, 2 quarter. I think today data analytics enables you to have a sharper diagnostic. And in most cases, people who've been running the business, they know the answers. But data allows you to validate and make a business case and helps you act on them. So I think marketing as a leading indicator and helping action on those, and keeping everything. This is essentially data analysis brings the element of speed and validation to what your gut says, and therefore be able to drive action. So for example, I would take an example where you may uncover that X, top, very simple, but you always have that gut feel. The rule of 20-80 works, right? But if your top 20% are driving 80% of your return, today data can validate, you can look at their lifetime history, all of that, and you can drive a decision to maybe defocus on that 80% for the 6 months, 12 months till you weather this, and go deeper with those 20%. And that helps you, go faster.
Fantastic. Thanks, Vinodji. I'll come to you next. And you've mentioned, and we also realize that airline is a very complex business, and there are multiple systems. I would say application workloads, people, process, technology, diversity, and heterogeneity across. So, any golden rule you can suggest to our audience? I'm sure they'll also see similar heterogeneity, complexity in their landscapes. How to break these silos in context of synergizing around data, AI, analytics, so that there's preferentially one data lake or sort of repository where from people run queries, and there is one single version of truth which comes out.
Okay, there is no silver bullet, but what we can do is that we can embark on a very serious digital strategy for the company, which includes, and data strategy is part of that. So I think if you do that, then the data itself will speak. That does half of the job, because people cannot say no to data, right? So they will have to embrace it. But the software aspect is that how do you drive the whole organization change management? How do you bring up the digital quotient? I think that is the software aspect which, as leaders, you need to make sure that's taken care, because it can potentially impact the roles, it can potentially impact their jobs, it can impact a lot of those things. So as long as you can communicate well, so breaking the communication silos, breaking the information silos, breaking the infrastructure silos, and more importantly, the leadership silos. So you need to look at it holistically, and it's a journey. It's a journey because the organization learn every day. As long as you are addressing that and everybody sees that it's a win-win for everyone, it's not at the expense of something else it is being done, I think people embrace it wholeheartedly.
Understand. Abdul Munim ji, since you again empower customers very, very strongly around the data journey, the AI-led cloud journey, again, among our audience, I'm sure there are many businesses or organizations who are not digital native, but who started as traditional businesses, and they have definitely embarked on a digital journey. So this is sort of a transformational journey that's ongoing. So, and it's not easy, right? Because it's like changing tires of a moving car. In terms of the complexity, nothing can go down. The operations has to sustain and continue while you keep transforming. So give us, again, a few possible golden nuggets around how you are helping customers towards making this transformation journey as much seamless around data, AI, analytics.
What we have seen usually working with different size of customers, and something which is common, be it very large customers or small customers, usually they tend to start ad hoc, okay? And that is where the data governance really becomes a problem after some time, because one function is doing something with data, other function is doing something with other data. So I think one of the key aspects for any organization is to really have a plan for data and have a very good data governance across, because it is going to matter when you are going to grow. It's like you're building a house without a plan, and you started building something from the other side, something from one side, and later on then you realize, no, we need to demolish everything and start building from the. So if you are constructing a house, you start with a blueprint. So that's what your data governance would do. So it's very important that organizations give importance to data governance particularly, and it's very simple. It's all about how you collect the data, classify the data, and make the data accessible to the right users, right? And see that it's secured. It does not get misused. And I think to do that, involving all the stakeholders, right, from business, from IT, and from the data governance, I think these stakeholders have to be part of this whole program. And this, it has to be and the stakeholders have to be updated about the progress and all those things. I think like these are the things, if organizations really do well at the beginning, I think it becomes very easier and
Far more seamless.
yes,
The
more seamless.
frictions reduce
Yeah.
to a great extent. I think while it shows time's up here, I'll take the liberty to take 3 questions now by a show of hands, and then of course our distinguished sort of members of the board remain with us for some more time through the afternoon, evening. So feel free to sort of interact and ask them more. But quick show of hands, 1, 2, 3 question. I have one gentleman here in the middle front row showing up his hand first. Can we have a mic for him? Here in the front, please. Your name, your organization, and question, please.
Hello everyone, my name is Armeet Singh and I am from Midland Credit Management, India Private Limited. So my question, anyone can answer. So with the launch of DPDP Act, how it is going to pose or impact the business in which you are in terms of data governance, data retention, and storing that particular thing and processing it. So how it is going to change the dynamics of your business, how it is going to impact it?
Anybody wants to, maybe one after the other, who wants to go first, please? Vinodji? Yeah.
See, if you see, lot of industries are already regulated. So they are today also getting audited on the data privacy, whether it's through GDPR or the other obligations which you have. But from DPDP perspective also, some of the organizations are 80-90% compliant already. So broadly, I don't see, at least from the aviation point of view, there's a lot of change, but there has to be a proper checklist followed in terms of the implications, which every organization in the process of doing it. So the preparedness of the organization is important. What is the criticality of the, some of the data elements which are more exposed, which can have a lot of exposure. And there is a lot of technology element to it where you call it zero trust. So there is zero trust architecture, which includes your micro-segmentation, which includes your whole, the way the tier-wise architecture, that actually will support the DPDP compliance.
Rajesh, you want to add quickly something?
Yeah, I think it has a significant impact on the marketing as a function, because I think more and more reliance is going to be on first-party data. Anyway, we are going towards a cookie-less world and so on and so forth. So I think the value of data and value of every interaction will go up. Bombarding customers with unwanted information is going to die, which is all for good. So it's going to force companies and marketers to do their job better and make every interaction count. So I'd say I think it'll be a tough transition, but it'll be a good transition.
Any other? Thanks for asking that. Any other questions? Anybody? Show of hands. Yes, please.
Hello.
Yes.
Thank you for giving the opportunity. So I just wanted to bring
your name and organization.
My name is Gautam Lahiri, and I work for Czentrix TV Technologies Private Limited.
Please, Gautam. Go ahead with the question.
Recently, in last week, there was a fog problem which disrupted the airline industry in major ways. So I just wanted to know that what the companies they are doing to educate the passengers, because it is a natural phenomenon which is happening every time. I saw on TVs the way they reacted, which was quite normal because the planes were missed and the connecting flights were also missed. But this is a natural phenomenon. All the organizations, the airline companies, are they doing anything to educate the passengers? I saw that they are using technologies and messaging, 3 hours of cancellation. Anything else that to educate the people around?
So if you look at, there's a lot of guidance which is given to the passengers, even in the tickets. For example, if you have the international check-in, you have a domestic check-in, how many hours before you should have. Also, when you are particularly this kind of season, they are advised to check the status before they actually embark on the journey. So that is given because the uncertainties are also not in the control of the airlines because the weather can change. And also if the cancellations happen, we call it disruption management. The whole disruption management kicks in. It's not only for the customers, but also the internal crew and staff whom have to be lined up, the planes which have to be lined up. All that is part of the whole process. And wherever the touch points customers have, they are actually being pushed that information through the IVR, through the call centers, and that is a normal phenomenon. Sometimes because of the volumes, some of the resources may not be accessible for a short duration, possible. But broadly, that is, disruption is part of the ecosystem.
I think from what you said, I think there is possibly an opportunity because all of this is going as essential information. People consume it as such. But maybe there is an opportunity for changing the mindset in terms of tempering expectation and aligning. Because I think this kind of expectation doesn't happen anywhere else. Sometimes the expectation itself is high. If it is communicated, a lot of things can happen and it is normal. I think it's like any cleanliness drive or any other public social message to get people more accepting of a natural phenomena which nobody has control over and be more kind to each other, because I think tempers are fraying and people are doing all sorts of things as you see on social media, which is avoidable. It's not helping anyone.
Hello sir.
Thank you very much.
Hello everyone. I am Akhilesh from NHPC Limited. Hello.
Yes, please.
So my question to Rajesh sir is that, as he has said earlier, 80/20 rule kind of thing, that when using AI and data, that 80% or 20% can be leveraged, that 20% that will be giving more results. Can that standard is going to be changed after using AI and data-driven technologies? Hello. Yes.
Yeah. So if I got your question, did you complete? Sorry,
Yes, I have completed, but lost.
Yeah. So I'm just repeating my understanding of the question. You said the 80/20 rule in business in response to downturn or to make a business case for it. The situation is not changing. Situation is, for example, typical long time in a B2B business, technology business. So many businesses, your top 15, 20, 25 customers probably give you a very large amount of your business, right? There is always pressure to get a long tail, whether you want control of market share or you want to grow customers for future. But if you decide, next 6, 12 months are going to be hard, I want to cut down expenses. So you are going to take away that expense from the long tail and probably focus on your top 10 customers deeper, which may mean moderation of the investment in Salesforce, moderation of investment in, marketing, your operational costs. You may actually choose to drop some customers. Right? So, like I said, intuitively but today data and analysis can help you show that over last 10 years, these customers have continued to grow. They have, expanded their buying. They are most profitable. This X number of customers have not been profitable. There is higher churn. So, that helps you make a business case. I think that part is getting a bit easier. I hope that answers your question.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Sorry, we'll wrap the current boardroom right now, but again, the members of the boardroom are available with us, so please catch them offline, one-on-one, and keep that interaction on. So I think collectively, we all realize that given the dynamic world that we spoke about, change is the only constant, right? And there's no other way but to confront change, leveraging diverse aspects of digital technologies, the core foundation of which includes data, AI, cloud, and analytics. And thank you so much, our I would say, erudite members of the board for showing us through certain experiential golden nuggets, examples, illustrations, anecdotes, how do we typically outperform, how do we typically surge ahead, and then still neutralize all the adverse situations that we face where we often do not have control on. A big round of applause for our members of the boardroom, and thanks everybody. Maybe a quick photograph together and then we'll discuss.
Thank you very much for this wonderful discussion. A quick photograph, and also we would like to present little planters as a token of our appreciation to all the panelists. I would request Mr. Shantanu Ganguly to kindly present the mementos to all our panelists. Mr. Vinod Bhatt, Mr. Rajesh Kumar, Ms. Anita Nair, Mr. Abdul Muneem, thank you so much for joining us today and giving us this very exciting discussion.
So we are all going green, and this is the token of our gratitude and appreciation of
Another step of strategizing towards a sustainable future. Let's go green. Thank you very much once again.